In the summer of 216 BC, the Roman Republic stood at a critical moment in its history. For 2 years, they had been engaged in a brutal war against the Carthaginian general Hannibal Barca, a man whose name would become legendary in the annals of military history. Hannibal had already stunned the ancient world by leading his army, including war elephants, across the treacherous, snow-covered Alps, a feat that seemed impossible and claimed the lives of thousands of his men and animals. Yet those who survived were hardened and battle-ready, and Hannibal wasted no time striking at the heart of Rome's territories in Italy. The Romans, determined to crush him once and for all, assembled what was perhaps the largest army they had ever fielded, nearly 80,000 soldiers, drawn from the legions and their allies. Their commanders, consuls Lucius Aemilius Paulus and Gaius Terentius Varro, were confident that sheer numbers would overwhelm Hannibal's smaller force of about 50,000 men. But Hannibal was no ordinary commander. He understood that raw numbers did not guarantee victory. Strategy did. The two armies met on the open, dusty plain near the small Apulian town of Cannae. Hannibal's deployment was unorthodox. He placed his weakest troops, mostly Gauls and Iberians, in the center of his formation, curving them outward in a shallow crescent. His veteran African infantry, disciplined and deadly, stood on the flanks, while his cavalry, commanded by trusted officers like Hasdrubal, was positioned on the wings, ready for rapid movement. When the battle began, the Roman legions advanced aggressively, driving into Hannibal's center. As the pressure mounted, Hannibal's central line began to bend and slowly retreat, just as he had planned. This created the illusion of weakness, luring the Romans deeper into the crescent-shaped formation. The tighter they pushed, the more cramped their ranks became, and the more difficult it was to maneuver. At that precise moment, Hannibal unleashed his trap. His elite African infantry on the flanks wheeled inward, striking the Roman sides with deadly precision. Almost simultaneously, his cavalry routed the Roman horsemen and swept around to attack from the rear. In minutes, the Roman army was encircled, trapped in what is now known as the double envelopment, a maneuver still studied in military academies today. The slaughter that followed was unimaginable. The cramped, panicked Romans had nowhere to run. The Carthaginian soldiers methodically cut them down, spear and sword rising and falling in a bloody rhythm. By nightfall, the battlefield was a graveyard. Ancient historians estimate that nearly 50,000 Roman soldiers were killed in a single day, one of the most devastating losses Rome ever suffered. But despite his victory, Hannibal lacked the siege equipment and reinforcements needed to march on Rome itself. His triumph at Cannae would terrify the Roman Republic and inspire military leaders for centuries to come. Yet Rome, with its unmatched resilience, would recover, adapt, and eventually defeat Carthage. Still, the Battle of Cannae remains one of the greatest tactical masterpieces in history, a chilling reminder of how brilliance and patience can turn the tide of war, even against impossible odds.